Welcome students, I am Nirban Rai, your home science teacher. So last day we started with the first chapter of our new syllabus. So today we are going to continue with the second part of the first chapter. So the chapter is work, livelihood and career. So let's start with the so let's uh, let's overview the previous work. So we have done with work, livelihood and career. So what are these three terms? What do you mean by what is a meaningful work? What are the different features of work? What do you understand by job and career? What are the differences between these two terms? And what are the role of rest and recreation in work? So today we are going to cover the topics: traditional occupations of India, work, age and gender. That is, what are these three terms, and how these three interrelates each other. Child labor and children's work. So let's see what are the traditional occupations of India. So since we all know that India is one of the richest countries as far as art and culture are concerned, agriculture has been one of the major occupations for a large proportion of the population because of the climatic conditions in most parts of India are suitable for agricultural activities. So India is the largest producer of cashew nut, coconut, milk, ginger, turmeric, and black pepper in the world. It is the one of the largest producer of fruits and vegetables, spices, condiments, and tea. Yet another important traditional occupation has been fishing because of the country's very long coastline. So next, handicraft. Handicraft have been one of the traditional occupations in Indian village. And today, many Indian arts and crafts are very popular in the international market. Some examples of crafts are wood craft, pottery, metal crafts, jewelry making, ivory craft, comb craft, glass and paper craft, embroidery, weaving, dyeing and printing, shell craft, sculpture, terracotta. These we are going to see these in the next slides. So another important traditional occupation is Indian cuisine. So Indian cuisine heavily influenced by regions, culture and traditions. Also vary from place to place like North India, South Indian. So different places have got their different traditional foods. And the last one is visual arts. So art that can see, feel, touch in material form such as wall paintings, puppetry crafts. So these are the different crafts that we can see if we go to visit any palaces or different temples. We can see the wood crafts or any stone carving crafts we can see there. So these are also the traditional occupations in India. So now let's see the different examples of the handicrafts. Some of examples of the handicraft which are very popular in the international market and have become a means of livelihood for the rurals are the woodcraft, pottery, metal crafts, jewelry making, ivory craft, comb craft, glasses and paper crafts, embroidery, weaving, dyeing and printing, shell craft, sculpture, terracotta making, clay and iron items, and rugs and carpets. So these are the different traditional occupations which are very popular in our country, and these are been imported to the different parts of the world in international market. So now let's see the Indian cuisine. So there are many traditional tasters in all over our country in different parts. So you can see in here the different parts of our country or the different states in our country have got their own traditional tastes. So you can get the name here. So now let's see what are the reasons of losing the traditional occupations of India. So the traditional occupations in our country is at a much risk because they are not being continued in our country by the people of people of different arts or culture. So now let's see the factors: illiteracy, socioeconomic backwardness, inadequate finance, low marketing services, environmental degradation, depletion of resources, shrinkage of forests. So that means if because of illiteracy and also these points, the reason of losing the traditional occupation in India has become high. So now let's discuss the preventive measures that are to be taken to fight these factors. Training facilities, eco use of eco-friendly raw materials, design innovation, conservation of traditional knowledge, focus on packaging, no caste-based work division. So if these points are followed, then we can get our traditional occupations, or we can preserve our traditional occupations in our country. So work, age and gender. So the topics that we are going to follow in work, age and gender are: gender issues in relation to work, issues and concerns related to women and work, child labor and children's work. So nature distinguishes the two sexes clearly in most forms of life, with biological and functional differences being well established. Human beings generally differentiate between two sexes, that is, men and women. However, lately, Indian's Supreme Court has recognized transgender people as a third gender. The terms sex and gender indicate the differentiations from the biological to the social and cultural perspectives. So now let's discuss what are the problems faced by women. Despite their active participation, the active participation of the woman in earning and contributing to the family resources, freedom to make decisions, and vote to independence are denied to women. Women therefore continue to remain powerless. The need of the hour is to educate and empower women and give them the rightful voice and place in society. So the woman cannot be empowered until the work they do at home is valued and is considered equivalent to paid work. So let's discuss the problems faced by the women. Freedom to make decisions are denied to women. Women continue to remain powerless even if they earn. Participation of women less due to the need of skilled workers. That means in different work sectors, so there is a need of skilled laborers or skilled workers. So the woman cannot be appointed there. Stress and adverse effects on health, double stress. That means the woman if they are working in any place, in workplace, and that means they are working in that place, and that too they are looking after their family, so that's the double stress. Lack of security and safety at workplaces. So there's a lack of security and safety. If there is no security or any safety in the workplace, so they will not be favorable in working in that place. So that's also a problem by the woman. Gender discrimination, we all know that gender discrimination discriminating in this generation is not appreciated, as it was a time when the women men were not be looked as the same, because the woman cannot work, they cannot be able to work in different workplaces. It was idea, but now the women, they are being appointed in higher position than the men. So one participating in the workplace outside the home has helped emancipate the woman as well as improve the family's resources. Women have started participating in each sectors of the economy, many of them occupying senior positions also. So participation of women is less due to the need for skilled workers, stress and adverse effects on health, double stress, lack of security and safety at workplaces, gender discrimination, no maternity benefits and social support for childcare. So now it was there was no there were no maternity benefits for the women who were pregnant, but now the government has been taking the initiative of giving the maternity benefits and also the social supports for childcare. They gave the 6 month of leave and also the full salary being paid to the women. So let's see what are the different contributions of women for the society. In rural India, women are intensively and extensively involved in agriculture and animal husbandry. In urban areas, women are involved in construction activities or are employed as domestic labor. Working women contributing to the income of the family. So money saved is money earned. Such contributions help other members of the family to perform their roles and duties more effectively. So the rural in rural area part of the India, the women they are also they are intensively involved in the agriculture and animal husbandry. So they so they look after the agricultural things also. And in urban areas, we can see that the women are involved in different workplaces, private sectors or IT sectors or different um, activities of the family. And now the money saved is money earned. That means the women they are doing the work outside. So that means they are they are trying to contribute something for the family. So that will generally increase the resources for the family only. Such contributions help other members of the family to perform their roles and duties more effectively. So now let's see what should we do for women empowerment. Educate and empower women by creating opportunities, give them their rightful voice and place in society, do the value of her work at home also, consider their work equivalent to paid work, motivate them about their active participation. So these are some initiatives taken by the government for women empowerment. Article 16, Factories Act 1948, Plantation Labor Act 1951, Mines Act 1952, State Insurance Act, Maternity Benefits Act 1961, Women's Cells taken by the Ministry of Labor, Equal Remuneration Act, National Plan of Action, KGBV, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Yojana. So these are the legal rights. So we are going to know about these rights. The Equal Remuneration Act for equal wages for the same work. National Plan of Action for Women by the Department of Social Welfare to implement the Equal Remuneration Act. Article 16 of the Constitution of India guarantees equality of opportunity for all citizens in matter relating to employment and appointment. The Factories Act of 1948, Section 48 of the Factories Act states that creches should be maintained if more than 30 women are employed in factory. Maternity Benefit Act 1961. The Mines Act of 1952, which provide protection to women in various industrial sectors. The Plantation Labor Act of 1951 for the better work conditions. Employee State Insurance Act. The Planning Commission enhanced the employment opportunities for rural women and their participation in economical and productive activities. Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya KGBV is a scheme of Government of India under the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan for bringing never enrolled and dropout girls from rural, remote and disadvantaged sections of the society into school education till elementary level in residential schools. All the girls enrolled in KGBVs study the breach course for 6 months to 1 year for preparing them for the entry level. The entry level in KGBVs for these girls is class 6. You should know this. So now let's see the constitutional rights or acts and the state initiatives. Constitution of India guarantees equality to both men and women in all walks of life. The Indian Constitution also empowers the state to make special provisions for women and children. Guarantee equal opportunity for all citizens in employment or appointment to any office. Forbids discrimination in respect of any employment or office or on grounds of caste, creed, color, race or sex. support and encourage in their educational and economic pursuits. So, child labor. The term child labor generally refers to any economic activity performed by personal a person under the age of 15 years, and in India, it is taken as 14 years. Child labor is the practice of having children engage in economic activity on part-time or full-time basis, and in India alone, more than 50 million children in the age group of 5 to 14 years are involved in various types of work, both remunerative and non-remunerative, including domestic work also. So, the causes of child labor. Several reasons at society and family levels push the children into work. They include poverty and family debts, rural urban migration of the family also sometimes make the possibility of these child laboring, dropout from school, domestic abuse, loss of parents, attraction towards the world of glamour, transparency, among many others. So these are the points which are the different causes of child labor. So children, you should be uh, note down. You should note down these points. So what are the effects of child labor? Physical injuries, pesticide poisoning, growth deficiency, long term health problems, exhaustion and malnutrition, premature aging, depression, emotional neglect such as deprivation, missing educational qualifications. So these are the different factors which affects the child for being for doing child labor. So so how does physical injuries affect? So if the child is doing work in any work or under anyone, so that means he or she can be can get any kind of injuries, so that also who will take the concern about that. Pesticide poisoning, so if he or she is working in any industrial purpose, so their pesticide poisoning, or in farming, their pesticide poisoning can also be a factor. Growth deficiency, long term health problems also, depression, because sometimes the parents they leave their child, so the child felt depressed, and he or she when they involved in work, so depression can be a point. So what are the solutions for this child labor? More strict and effective implementation, so educational for all children, communities need to be sensitized, support NGO, family control, spread awareness, discourage people to employ children, eliminate discrimination, eliminate poverty. So these points are to be taken for the solution of the child labor. Some labor laws are: the Child Labor Act prohibits employment of children below 14 years of age in hazardous industries. National Child Labor Project provide non-formal education. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan educate poor and employed child. Anganwadis, Child Welfare and Development. Factories Act, no employment of children below 18 years. Juvenile Justice Act, employment of children punishable crime. Right to education, free and compulsory education to all children below 6 to 14 years. So we should all help the government to eradicate this social evil. Children are the future of the nation. Let's pledge to take all these children out of different working places and send them to school. So students, we are complete with our today's part, and there are different tasks which are to be provided to you. So you need to do this task in your exercise copy. So next day, or the next part that we are going to continue, is attitudes and approaches to work life skills and quality of work life skills for livelihood, essential soft skills at workplaces, ergonomics, entrepreneurship. So these are the last topics of our this first chapter. Thank you for watching.